Package addressed to Austin, Texas, blowing up inside a FedEx facility overnight.
The FedEx Center, it's located in Schertz, Texas. That's about an hour outside of Austin, right outside of San Antonio, where they have seen 4 explosions this month.
Todd Pyro is live in Austin with the very latest. And Todd, the development that shortly after midnight, something blew up at FedEx.
That's right. If you are just waking up, we've got a whole lot to get you caught up on. Let's get right to it, and let's begin with that FedEx bombing. Like you said, it happened about 70 miles away from where we are here. The package blew up when moving from an upper conveyor belt to a lower conveyor belt just after midnight. It was sent from Austin to Austin. Reportedly contained shrapnel and nails. You will recall there are also reports of nails in the tripwire bomb that went off right where I am standing. A woman who works at that FedEx facility was not hit by the shrapnel, but did get a little bit of a headache from the blast. She is expected to be okay. The FBI, ATF, and San Antonio bomb squads all on scene. Police asking people in that area to stay indoors while they investigate. Meantime, right where I'm standing, this is where Sunday's tripwire blast happened. And take a look at this. This is the Austin American-Statesman saying, "We are going to stop it." Obviously a reference to law enforcement and what they are hoping to do. Law enforcement said 2 interesting things yesterday. One, they do believe that this is the work of a serial bomber, and the level of sophistication of this latest, or what was yesterday the latest bombing, has grown significantly.
Well, he and his friend were riding a bicycle about a block from their house. It was so dark they couldn't tell, and they tripped and set off this explosion. Didn't see it. It was a wire. And it blew up.
That's the grandfather of one of the latest victims who set off that tripwire on Sunday night. The AP reporting the blast left what appeared to be nails stuck in his leg. Again, over the course of the last couple hours, that nails theme being embedded in these bombs continues. This 4th blast, the Austin one, which injured 2 men in their 20s, follows 3 package bombs at homes around the Austin area this month, which killed 2 and injured 2 others. Authorities, including more than 300 FBI agents on scene, warn that the sophisticated tripwire is, quote, a significant change in the bomber's techniques, and they're hoping that the bomber makes contact with them so they can, in their words, understand his message. Meantime, the Austin Police Department is asking people to not let their guard down. Warning, if you come across anything that looks suspicious, do not touch, handle, or disturb it. Keep a safe distance and call 911 immediately. Despite all of that, authorities say they still don't have a motive, and at this point, anything could be on the table. If there's one takeaway, if you're just waking up, keep in mind, the situation is no longer just in Austin, has spread throughout the state of Texas. Steve Ainsley, Brian, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Joining us right now, Fox News contributor, former Republican congressman, and the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Jason Chaffetz. It's a lucky thing nobody was killed in this incident.
The good news is nobody was hurt in this latest incident, but there's going to be a lot more tracking and availability of information via FedEx Center, or if it went to a postal office. That's the good news. But the manhunt's on, and the good men and women at the ATF and FBI, and we've got to let them just do their jobs.
Does Congress get involved in something like this?
They better not.
Ted Cruz, no?
No, you got to stand back and let law enforcement do its work.
All right, let's talk about who was working yesterday. It was former Attorney General Eric Holder giving some advice to Jeff Sessions, saying, hey, sometimes you got to be bold and tell the president no when it comes to Andy McCabe. Here are the words. Now.
It may be that at the end of the day, his separation, his termination is appropriate. But you know, you don't rush that component of it to meet a deadline that I think the president essentially set. You know, if you're the Attorney General of the United States, you run the damn Justice Department, you know? And you got to have the guts to look at the president every now and again and say no.
Meanwhile, if you've been watching, President Trump's been a little upset because Jeff Sessions said no way too much, including I'm out of here when it comes to the Russian probe. Does he have any right to lecture Jeff Sessions?
It's pretty rich. Look, the Attorney General Holder, he knows better. He knows that this process for the dismissal went out over a course of months. It is almost impossible to get fired from the federal government. So this is a process that had to run the gauntlet from the Inspector General and then through the Office of Professional Responsibilities.
By who? Who appointed the Inspector General?
It was an Obama appointee and confirmed by the United States Senate. Michael Horowitz, I can tell you there's broad bipartisan support for this person. When his report comes out, which I'm guessing is about 5 weeks from now, then you're going to have some really good information. But Eric Holder knows better. It's a political barb. He's throwing it out there to try to confuse people. But
should there be special counsel, though? Because it's a little odd, even though this guy might be great, the Horowitz guy, that he works for the DOJ, yet he's investigating the FBI that's a part of the DOJ.
Absolutely, there needs to be one. You should take the work of the Inspector General, which has been in place for a year, and add on a U.S. attorney so they can go after the 24 people that they aren't able to interview, and they can have some prosecutorial power associated with that. That hybrid, I think, is the right way to go.
Okay, so there's so much going on there at the FBI and the Department of Justice. And I know we're going to get into the Wayback Machine because when you were the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, you actually had oversight over the executive branch. Let's take you back to September 12th. Here is Mr. Chaffetz talking to the FBI acting legislative affairs chief, and you're simply asking for something reasonable, and that is the documents. Watch this.
You don't get to decide what I get to see. I get to see it all. I was elected by some 800,000 people to come to Congress and see classified information. I was elected by my colleagues here to be the chairman of this committee. That's the way our Constitution works. Will the FBI provide to Congress the full file with no redactions of personal identifiable information?
I cannot make that commitment sitting here today.
Then I'm going to issue a subpoena, and I'm going to do it right now. So let's go. I've signed this subpoena. We want all the 302s, and we would like the full file. You can accept service on behalf of the FBI?
Certainly.
You are hereby served.
And you could see your attorney then went directly to do just that. What were you asking for?
Look, it was a closed case. And so Congress, the peppering back and forth is, what is it you think that Congress shouldn't see? And essentially the Department of Justice continues to this day to give a stiff arm to Congress because they know it's terribly embarrassing. But that's what the oversight is supposed to do.
What are these documents? What were you looking for in those documents?
This had to do with the Hillary Clinton email investigation, and it went back to understand what these cast of characters, which are now being exposed, were doing and not doing. Were they covering up for Hillary Clinton, and were they going after Donald Trump? I think that was a legitimate question, and still to this day, isn't it rich that when the special prosecutor issues a subpoena, you better comply with it, or guess what? You're going to jail. But when Congress issues a subpoena, we'll take that under consideration.
But here's the thing, the stuff that you were asking for, because it's embarrassing to the Department of Justice, they get to decide what to black out.
They start redacting things that have nothing to do with national security. Now, fortunately, one of the things we also did put into place back then is we sent a letter to the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, to start this investigation. Now it's going to play out. I think it'll be the first part of May, and we'll start to see that. After you see that, then I think you'll see the second special prosecutor put into place. That's what should happen. That's what should happen.
Bob Goodlatte said yesterday that he's only got a tiny percentage of those documents. He's got roughly 3,000 out of 1.2 million.
It's a fight that Congress has been going through for a year and a half. And it started with Eric Holder. If Eric Holder, was trying to be Mr. Righteous, he could have provided the documents that were under subpoena by Congress, but he refused to do it.
You just said that it sounds like the Inspector General report's going to come out 1st of May. We'd heard it might be March. What's going on?
I think he needs time. The process works like this. When they finally cross the T's and dot the I's, they will give it to the FBI Director, Director Wray. They will give it to the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General. Those that cooperated with the interviews will see their sections just to see, get some feedback. Michael Horowitz will give him a short leash, about a week and a half, to go through that process. Then they'll present it to the United States Congress.
When it comes to Comey and when it comes to Andrew McCabe, they have all these memos they say on the president, even though the president says they weren't, taking notes in the middle of his meeting with them. Why didn't they have these memos on Hillary Clinton?
And all the other meetings. I mean, for meetings with Loretta Lynch, they say that this was common practice. They say that, hey, this was a habit that they were in. Well, then where are all those emails, or where are all those notes? And particularly with McCabe, and and Strzok, and they have to have some notes from that meeting with Hillary Clinton.
Right. You'd have to wonder, too, Andy McCabe goes and takes notes. Fine. How do I know those notes are accurate? The president didn't take notes and remembers it differently. So congratulations.
And I think what you're going to see is he met with President Trump very infrequently. I mean, it's not like he's given direction over there.
But he backs up Comey to make it seem like a block.
Yeah, and then handing it, as Comey does, hands it to his buddy, who then throws it into the media. I mean, what you're seeing is a concerted effort to manipulate the media by dropping information. And I think you're going to see that not only with the FBI, unfortunately, but you're also going to see that with the CIA and some of the others, the intelligence apparatus. Yeah.
D.C. is a leaky town. All right.
Deep State's alive and well, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
See you on the radio. Meanwhile, there's Jillian right behind you. Hey, Jillian.
Hey, Jillian.
Hey, he was on the 5 a.m. show today.
Oh, really?
Working hard.
Good morning, guys. So we have a Fox News alert. Let's get you caught up on what we're following here. Severe storms turning deadly overnight. Off-duty Georgia State Patrol Trooper Tyler Parker killed when his car lost control in intense rain. His young daughter is seriously hurt. Fierce tornadoes knocking down trees and ripping off roofs in part of the southeast. And this church in Alabama, just one of many buildings destroyed. Thousands of homes and businesses are without power. Storms threaten the southeast through the rest of the day. To another Fox News alert, a manhunt intensifying for an escaped inmate police believe is extremely dangerous. He's even on ICE's radar. 2 people believed to be connected to Mauricio Venzor Gonzalez, now hospitalized after a shootout and police chase overnight. Gonzalez escaped early Monday, being transported to a Denver hospital. He was being held for the attempted murder of a police officer. ICE agents requested to be notified when he would be released. Today, President Trump will hold a critical face-to-face meeting with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. They will focus on the Iran nuclear deal, Russia's role in Syria, and infrastructure projects. Prince Mohammed bin Salman will also meet with the Defense, Treasury, and Commerce secretaries, as well as the CIA director and national security advisor. Today marks Salman's first visit to the White House as heir to the throne. And just look at this, a life-changing news for a teenager coming straight from Chewbacca.
We got a hot.
That's 15-year-old Austin Eggleston and his doctor promising to dress up as the Star Wars character when he made it off the heart transplant waiting list. He's now recovering after a successful surgery.
Look at the way he's jumping around. He looks healthy.
I know.
Dreams do come true.
Yes, they do.
That's great. Thank you,
So
Jillian.
great. What a good story. Thank you, Jillian.
All right. It is 8:12 here in New York City. Back to our lead story. Fox News alert, a 5th explosion rocking the state of Texas overnight, this time inside a FedEx facility on a conveyor belt. Former homicide detective Ted Williams here to react. He's next.
Plus, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders is going to join us live.
Yep.